So the question is, yo Marv, do you got any advice for a student in barber school? And I actually do. I got a lot of advice, but the advice I would like to cover in this video is simply this. When you're in barber school, make sure you're taking it as serious as you possibly can, all right? You gotta remember, at the end of the day, barber school's job is literally to prep you to pass the state board. That's what the job is. Their job is not to teach you social media. Their job is not to teach you how to do the flawless designs. Their job is not to teach you how to do the perfectly blurry fades. All their job is to teach you how to pass the state board. So as long as you do that, you got what you paid for at barber school, all right? Now, unfortunately, most of us, we just don't really realize that, and we enter school with expectations of, you know, we think that it's gonna really prep us for the real world, and for the most part, it doesn't, right? You know, I don't gotta sell you on that concept that most barber schools aren't gonna prep us for the real world. However, there are times where you may get lucky in a sense that you have an instructor that can really help you. So what I would recommend for you to do while you're in barber school is to do your best to just take it serious while you're there. You're gonna have people in the class that aren't going to take it serious. They're gonna do the bare minimum. They're not gonna ask questions. They're not gonna volunteer for anything. They're not gonna do any more than they absolutely have to in order to graduate and then hopefully pass the state board. Don't be that person. If anything, be the annoying student. Be the student that's asking one too many questions. Be the student that's always volunteering for stuff. And be the student that hangs out with the people that are like that. Be the student that hangs around with the annoying people, the ones that are trying to get the most of it. Because I'll tell you what, man, I graduated barber school back in, 2011 now? And I can promise you that the students that people viewed as the most annoying in the class are the ones that are still cutting hair to this day. The ones that weren't, you know, the ones that were the cool people, the ones that did the bare minimum, the ones that were, you know, they was all right people, but they ain't take it serious. They didn't volunteer for nothing. They did the bare minimum. Ain't none of them in the shop. Ain't none of them last. Ain't none of them make no noise in this industry. Ain't none of them go on to have a successful career. So my advice to you, I can listen, I got a lot for you, but what I'm gonna cover in this video is just simply take it serious while you're there. Don't just do the bare minimum. Don't be that person. You spending a lot of money to be there most of the time. Make sure you're getting your money's worth. Ask as many questions as you can. Hang around with the annoying people. Volunteer as much as you can, and get the most bang for your buck. So the question is, I just got started in the shop. What should I put most of my effort in for building clientele? Barbers. Here's what I'm gonna need for you to do, all right? If you are somebody that is new in the shop, is trying to grow your clientele, and you find yourself unsure of what to do, it's really simple, guys. It really is. Now, there's a million different things you can do. Obviously, I'm not gonna go over all of them in this video, but if you just do these two things, all right? These two things that I preach, and you're always gonna hear me preach, just these two simple things, you will build your clientele faster than you ever imagined, all right? Now, the first thing I'm gonna tell you to do, right? You might not like how it sounds, you may not wanna hear it, it may not make sense to you, but I'm just telling you, trust me, and see the results, all right? The first thing I'm gonna need for you to do is to give as many free haircuts as you possibly can. Yes, free, not discounted, free, okay? It's either free or full price. None of that discount stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you do whatever you feel works for you, but I'm just saying free or full price is gonna be the best approach for you to do. And just to get into a short explanation why, I remember Ivan Zoot told me this back when I sat in one of his classes. He made a very good point. He says, you know, if you give a $25 haircut for free, it's still a $25 haircut in the client's mind, right? So the value of the cut is still the same. They got it for free, right? Whereas if you give a $25 haircut for $10, you subconsciously decrease the value of your work to $10 to that client, right? They might not even be aware that they're receiving that way, but that's how they're going to take it. They're going to see, all right, well, I got this $25 cut for $10, right? And now your $25 cut just is valued at a $10 cut. Whereas if you just decided to give it for free, it still holds its value and it still remains a $25 cut. So free or full price, that's the motto I live by. And I'm just saying maybe it's going to be the motto you want to live by. But to circle back to my point, give as many free haircuts as possible. Why? Because it's an investment, right? If I was to tell you that you could cut this one client free one time and they're going to come back to you every 2 weeks, would you think that was a great deal? Of course, right? If I told you you're going to cut this client free one time and they were going to come back to you once a month, is it a great deal? Or once every 2 months, is it a great deal? Every option is like, yeah, because they're coming back, right? If I was to tell you that you had to give this person a free haircut once and they were going to refer, 5 people to you, is it a great deal? Yes. 3 people to you, is it a great deal? Any given circumstance is going to be a great deal, right? So what I want you to see is that free haircuts are an investment, okay? You're investing in sacrificing time, which most of you guys, if you're beginner barbers and you're trying to figure out how to build a clientele, you're gonna have that time anyway, right? So you might as well use that time to give a free haircut as opposed to just mindlessly scroll on your phone. If you got a Tuesday, you're in the shop, you got 4 free hours, you ain't doing nothing, it's always going to be better for you to give 2 free haircuts in that 4 hours than it is for you to just sit on Instagram and just like a whole bunch of pictures of just drama and stuff, right? It's always going to be better that way. So give more free haircuts. Another benefit of giving free haircuts is as long as you can do the job, right? You don't rush through the person, you give them good conversation, you make the environment welcoming and comfortable, and you give them the best haircut you could possibly give them. At bare minimum, you're at least going to get tipped a vast majority of the time. Very few people are going to be able to sit there, get a great haircut, have a great experience, have great conversation, and get up and leave and not pay you nothing. Very few people. Most people are at least going to tip you, and then you're going to have a significant amount of people actually pay you full price. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. It's amazing to witness, but it's just when you think about it from a business standpoint, it's all you're doing is giving the value. You're proving the value, and then once you prove the value, the person returns the favor, right? It's like when I go live on Instagram, which I currently am right now. You can't see it, the phone down here. But when I go live on Instagram, if I turn on the badges, right, I start dropping some heat, dropping some game. So people are like, you know what, he giving me so much, I gotta give him something, right? It's the same thing with free haircuts. When you do a good job, the experience is good, you bless them, you blow their mind, they're going to at least tip you, and a lot of times they're going to pay you full price. But then there's worst case scenario, right? They don't pay you anything. But really, think about it. How bad is it anyway, right? How bad is it? You were sitting around, you ain't doing nothing anyway. You wasn't going to be doing nothing but talking about what LeBron and the Lakers did with your other co-workers, right? Or just mindlessly scrolling on social media. What was you going to be doing anyway? You was going to be just letting time pass anyway. The time was going to pass. So at bare minimum, if you don't get paid anything, at least by you giving somebody a free haircut, you're getting reps in, so you're getting practicing, right? Which is ultimately going to lead to you getting better, getting more confident, and helping you make more money. So it's literally a win-win. There's no loss. If the client never comes back, you didn't lose anything. You gained skills, like you gained awareness. You sharpened your skills, right? Like you're not losing anything. You can't lose something you didn't have, right? And if you cut somebody and they were not a client, and then they never come back, you didn't lose anything. They were never your client in the first place. So you giving free haircuts is literally a win-win all around the board. And the more you give, the more you're gonna receive in return. I promise you. Maybe just this idea of giving a free haircut scares you a little bit because you think, I gotta make money. But I promise you, you're gonna be so surprised by the amount of people that tip you and pay you, period, when you offer them a free haircut. So give as many free haircuts as possible. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is learn social media. You have to learn how to use this tool. Whenever I ask barbers how much time they spend on social media, particularly Instagram, because that's where I do a lot of my work, it's usually the barbers will say between 2 to 4 hours they're on Instagram, all right? But for the most part, when they're on Instagram, all they're doing is they're mindlessly scrolling. They're not really doing anything that's helping them build or grow as a person, as a business, or grow their social media presence. They're just mindlessly entertaining themselves, right? Where if you learn what to do, right, on Instagram, you learn how to be efficient and actually be intentional with what you do on Instagram, those same 2 to 4 hours you're spending every day on it could be helping you grow at a rate you couldn't even believe, you wouldn't even imagine. Now, I get it. Like me, when I first started trying to figure out social media, I was lost too. I had no idea what the hell I was doing either. And I had nobody really to look to help me, right? But I took it upon myself to go out of my way. I had to dip into other industries. I had to go to a lot of different events and stuff and actively seek out people that were crushing it and learn what they were doing, ask them questions, pick their brain, sign up for classes I seen online and stuff like that. And I ended up learning what I needed to do. And then I ended up doing it. And now, long story short, social media has absolutely changed my life. But now when I'm on social media, I'm not just being mindless on it. I mean, there are times I'm human, right? And plus there are times where I just want to entertain myself and just, not really do any work. So yeah, there are times I do that. But for the most part, when I'm on social media, I'm working now. So you might, from the outside, see me sitting there on my phone and somebody else sitting on their phone, and you might be thinking like, these are two people wasting their time on their phones. But no, me and the other person could be doing two totally different things. I could be on there building relationships with my community. I could be on there editing some content. I could be on there strengthening my network, right? Trying to build my network. I could be on there doing my best to connect with new people. Whereas, the other person might just be on there reading some comments and some drama that's going on social media, right? So learning what to do on social media is going to be super, super, super important. And there's plenty of ways you can learn, right? There's YouTube, obviously. You got Google. I got some links in the description for you. Resources I have an ebook that's available that you can get. I'm pretty much giving it to you. Y'all pay a little bit, $7.95. And I do a interactive social media course that you get lifetime access to. You'll absolutely love that if you're somebody that has a desire to learn social media. There will be a link below for that as well. That costs you, you'll see. It's going to cost. The price might change by the time I put this video out, so I don't want to tell you the price because the price is only going to go up. But go check it out. Whatever price it's at now, join it, because who knows, a month or so from now, the price might be higher. So check that out. Check that out as well. But to circle back to the main points that I wanted to address in this video, if you're trying to build your clientele, the only two things you need to do is give as many free haircuts as you possibly can and learn how to use social media. And learn how to use social media to help you give more free haircuts. And that will help you build your clientele.